Welcome to Wake Up Charlotte to go on this Wednesday morning. Happy March as well, the first day of March.
Yeah, well, everyone online keeps talking about this Murdaugh trial. All eyes are on it as the jury expected to take that field trip today.
I know they're going to leave about 20 minutes from the courthouse and go to the scene of these two murders. And this is the defense has been calling for this for quite some time because they feel like there's a lot to be learned for the jury's sake about the layout of where this all happened there at the Murdaugh property. Let us know, are you following this? What do you think of the case? Do you think he's guilty or not? Let us know what you're thinking. We know it has the attention of a lot of folks. And we have this report filed by Kitty Beck just moments ago on the Today Show.
Trip outside the courthouse to visit the sprawling hunting property of disgraced attorney Alex Murdaugh. The defense successfully arguing the jury view of the crime scene where Murdaugh's wife Maggie and son Paul were murdered will help them understand the layout of the area near the dog kennels. The 1,700-acre property, known as Moselle, is now up for sale. In court Tuesday, prosecutors calling half a dozen rebuttal witnesses.
I cannot include or exclude two shooters,
including forensics expert Kenneth Kinsey, who said he could not endorse or rule out the theory raised by the defense that two shooters were involved in the murders, while taking direct issue with a defense witness who used bullet trajectories to conclude the shooter likely would have been between 5'2" and 5'4", a foot shorter than Alex Murdaugh. Kinsey arguing multiple variables make it impossible to determine the shooter's height or gun position with any certainty.
Could have been a 5'4", 6'4", or in my opinion a 7'4", as I just demonstrated.
The firearms involved in this case have never been recovered, and Alex Murdaugh has repeatedly maintained he would never hurt his wife or son.
I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime, ever.
Murdaugh emotional as the court heard graphic details about the manner of Paul's shooting.
This is terrible, and I know it's terrible. It's probably the worst thing you ever saw.
The state also reviving the issue of the dozens of alleged financial crimes Murdaugh is separately facing, which they've argued is part of his motive. Murdaugh's longtime friend and former colleague Ronnie Crosby taking the stand a second time.
Not only the trauma of losing people we loved in a double homicide, seeing the aftermath, and then learning that someone you worked with for more than 20 years had been stealing and deceiving us. There's a lot of emotion there.
Jury views like this one are rarely granted because they're a logistical nightmare. Jurors have been specifically instructed they are not to be talking about the case on the way there or asking any questions when they're at the property. Judge Newman says he himself will be going there to the property to make sure everything goes as planned, and then they'll be taking the bus back here to court to hear closing arguments this afternoon. Guys.
I mean, these jurors really have to live under a bubble and have no outside media or anything. They can't talk to each other on the way there. And we should note, they're not going to see the house. They're not going to see any other part of the property, just that one location where the dog kennels are, where the two murders took place.
Yeah, so let us know. Are you following this case? What do you think of it so far? Some of you already chiming in. Angie says, yeah, he did it, simply put. Melissa says, he knows he did it. We all know he did it, but that family runs deep. Not sure anybody will get convicted in the case.
There have been certain things brought up during this trial, like DNA under Maggie's fingernails that do not match her husband. So, who knows what's going to happen, but it should be noted that these financial crimes that aren't even a part of this trial, there was at some point where they said we do want to bring these in as a motive, but he's going to be spending probably his whole life behind bars just for those financial crimes, regardless of what happens here with this trial.
We mentioned that the jury is going to go see the scene of this double murder. We probably, unlike most of this case so far that we've seen, because it's been an open courtroom as far as cameras, I'm assuming we probably will not see most of that this morning, just because part of the deal, and this happens to us sometimes when we cover trials, is that you never want to show the jury. You want to make sure that they are protected and their secrecy is maintained. If they want to, after the case, come forward and speak to the media, they're allowed to. But during the actual trial itself, it's incumbent upon the judge and that court to make sure that their identities are protected. So we probably will hear about it, but I'm not sure we'll see much of it as far as from a news perspective. And as Katie said, after that, then they go back to the courthouse this afternoon for those closing arguments.
Angie chiming in saying he lied over and over again. How is one to be believed? And if you've been following along with the trial, he said he wasn't there at the kennels at all. And then that Snapchat from his son's phone came out. His voice was on it. So during the trial, when he surprised a lot of people and actually took the stand, but we know a longtime attorney, he said he was there earlier and then left. And so the timeline has kind of changed throughout the trial when they put him on the stand.
I feel like the jury's weighing two things, is whether or not he's credible and whether or not they feel like there's been a substantial motivation provided by the prosecution for why he would do this. And
you only need one juror to have a reasonable doubt.
Only one.
Only one. So
it's a very high bar. As they always say, the burden's on the prosecution in a case like this.
And it's interesting with a story like this. Usually, you see documentaries and whatnot come out at the end of all of it. And now you have the HBO documentary, you have the Netflix documentary series that just dropped recently that is covering everything.
Have you finished the Netflix yet?
No, I still have one more episode. Everything up into the trial. So now once the trial wraps, because so much was revealed during the trial that there will have to be an update to that or updated documentary or whatever.
Yeah. Angie chiming in once again that he's an attorney, he knows how to talk to jurors and a judge. I think most people would say he did a fairly good job under oath up on that stand. Whether you like him or not, you think he's guilty or not. He was an effective communicator.
Yes, I think most people, they would not have put them on the stand. But again, longtime attorney, he's been in that courtroom. He has been not in that specific situation, but in the back and forth sort of thing. That was his bread and butter.
And more than likely, the members of the jury either knew of him or know of him, and I think probably seeing him like that could possibly make them a little bit more sympathetic to his case. So, folks, clearly lots of you all weighing in with strong opinions about the case. Let us know what you think. We'll have the very latest on this coming up this afternoon. First of all, starting at 11:30 on WCNC Charlotte, and then again this afternoon. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning for Wake Up Charlotte to Go.